just realized that this was off the whole time. So my bad. So yeah, so this, if you couldn't tell already, this stream is a Microsoft Maquette stream, and I'm taking a look at this because it's been a long time since I jumped into it. The last time that I was in here, I worked on a VR version of this website, and I wanted to um, display some of the tools in a way that's easy for people to digest, as well as some of the workflows. So, since I've done this, like I said, it's been a year ago since I worked in Maquette, and I've been in some VR chat worlds where they do a great job of illustrating workflows. In Virtual Market 3, there was a booth that kind of had, I mean, it had a lot of information packed into it for one booth, but it had signage. It showed you how to, start with an avatar, bring it into a VRM avatar, bring it into different areas, um, depending on what your use case was, whether it was VR chat or some other platform. In this case, again, so here's the website. You can check it out if you want. Bottom. I've got a section for other things. So I've got like SDKs, augmented stuff, authoring platforms, engines, and I'm adding a lot more to this as I find software and applications. So if you're out there, if you have one that's not on the list, please reach out to me. I have a link actually right here, so you can send, um, you can submit your own software, and then I'll put it on here. None of these, by the way, they're not like listed in terms of like which one I like best, or I'm not selling advertising space on here or anything. So it's simply just it's a list. Um, the only time I take something off of here is if it's no longer relevant, or if the company has shut down or something like that. But oh, and I guess I should go to this tab too. So this tab is more so just resources that I think are useful. So, we've got different kits in Google Blocks. We've got some kit bashing stuff for Medium, and then just a bunch of other free resources. I've got listed here what type of licensing they have, and then some information about the creator. Now, this thing is really old. I haven't looked at it in a while, but this is my attempt to kind of map out the potential workflows for stuff that's created in VR specifically, and then where it can go after that. And again, it's out of date. There's a lot of stuff that's not on here, and I will be working on this at some point. But what I wanted to do is take this and create a version of it that you could walk into in a VR chat or a Mozilla Hubs, or in this case, I want to do one for Cluster because I like that platform. And so what I'm going to do in this stream is look at this project. It's been a while since I looked at it, and see what other features Maquette has, because it's honestly been a minute since I've been in here. I've seen them update quite frequently on Steam, so I know that there's some new features in here, and it kind of gives some appreciation to this tool because I don't think it gets talked about enough. But I think it really is great for people who want to prototype. So this is kind of what I have to get used to the controls, because again, it's been a long time since I've been in here. So we can kind of scale like you would be used to in Tilt Brush. You can actually get pretty small. Cool. See how big. Okay, so that looks like the maximum. And then you would use. Oh, that's new. I haven't seen that before. Button to teleport. So you've got your undo and redo here. Oh, so the teleport is the grab button, and then you grab and point to the floor. reason it's not really. Okay, so you have to press the trigger to confirm that option. So I'm sure there's a way to lock things, which I'm going to try to figure out next. As I make my way back into Maquette. So one thing that I really love when apps do is when they have their um, updates and even their like onboarding or documentation in the platform itself, especially if it's like a creation platform. It just makes sense to display it that way. Um, I actually have this, I cover this in a video that I'm working on where I look at a lot of the different tools and how they content to the user in terms of onboarding and documentation. So look out for that pretty soon, hopefully. But in this case, we have, like, there's the Maquette logo at the top. Love the treatment on this. I mean, you can see it's like layered. Shadow layer, you have some particles, and you have kind of like this nice reflection, and everything has depth to it. You know, it could all just be one flat panel, but I like that they went that extra route. So what do we have here? We've got parametric objects is new. See if I can make this. So there's some new features for objects. That's cool. Very curious. So they show off the Quest or the Oculus controller in this preview video, and not the Windows mixed reality controller. So is that in admittance from the Microsoft team that, you know, and even here in the preview, it's showing the Quest controller rather than like a Windows mixed reality controller. I think I saw one that is mixed reality coming out soon. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. Um, okay, we've got new selection needle. Okay, they're showing you. Great, so you can change the size there. That's good. Got the volume brush. Okay, this is nice. So you can make your own assets a lot easier. Get the hull brush as well, so they're kind of pulling some stuff from Tilt Brush in here. Hull brush has made its way into Gravity Sketch as well. Tube brush. Okay, yep, kind of like Gravity Sketch and Tilt Brush. Got it. Just the size of. Okay, so like some resizing. Okay. Alright, so I think I saw. Oh, wait, and locking objects. Open the context menu. Lock. Okay, so I think that's what I need to do with the floor. So, got the floor grabbed. And then lock it. Great. I love that. So one of the features with Gravity Sketch that I find a little bit. Might as well lock this guy while I'm at it. Yeah, so with Gravity Sketch, I find it hard to do some of the things because you have to kind of select the object and then you have to kind of press on the other hand here, um, open up the sort of like edit menu or whatever they call it. And for me, I find it a little bit frustrating. That's where my OCD kicks in because um, while you're grabbing it, you're moving the object at the same time. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. This is a better solution where I can hover over it, press it, and then lock it rather than having to like grab the thing. You know, I've got some like shaky hands apparently, and then over here select something. I don't like that. I like this approach better than the other one. Let's put it that way. So anyway, that's my little rant on that. So what do we have? What we have here is the starting like most basic display of some of the apps. Like I said, this is a little bit out of date, and I think this is all using just Google Blocks models that I found here. I think if I remember, there's like Poly. There it is, Google Poly. So shout out to whoever made these assets because I did not. But all of the VR apps in their own categories for what they do. Like I already grouped things here. That's good. For what they do, and I know some of these apps do more than one thing, but like specifically what they're used for. And then, of course, I've got a couple over here that I haven't organized yet. And then somehow create maybe either another area. There we go. It's so useful. I love that. Well, actually, let's unlock that. I want it to be perfect, but I feel like this is straight, but then the floor isn't. I did something to the floor. Let's. I like how these menus stay floating, even though I'm like selecting something else. That's kind of neat. Really nice feature, rather than having to kind of select something and only have one menu at a time. So that, I think, let's go back to this. Something I didn't see before, but the ability to change the material. I'm very curious if and how these if they transfer over to Unity, you know? Got a matte, unlit, additive, I think I'm going to stay with dark edges. Okay, so I think this stuff can mostly stay. Oh, and I like how they have these lines here. And the panels, how that follows you. These little design features that I think are really nice. Let's lock this. Ooh, and I can rename it. I'm into this. Oh, let's unlock everything. Curious here. We're gonna rename this. Um, I'm gonna try to make my life easier before it goes into Unity eventually. See if I can group clone, gizmos, assets, selection. I guess I have to select two things. Oh, group. Then lock it. Name this. Perfect. Okay, I like that. It'd be a great time to have some music playing on the stream. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. So far, I'm loving this workflow. Painting, we'll call it group. Uh, group underscore underscore. Oh, there it is. So I guess I'll do this later. Um, This is not exciting, but I'm gonna jump into the other. So we've got everything locked down. Let's see what else is new. Play button. Difference. Um, so I think the last time I was in here, I think there was like talk about having scripting of some sort, which was really exciting. I never saw any of that because again, it was like super like alpha beta at the time, but um, maybe that made it in here. Before we do all this, let's look at the panel here. It looks like you can save your colors. That's nice. And it looks like you can even have your other material types. Hmm. Weird. Okay, so got these three to pick from. I can't figure out how to slot the specific color. I guess they just want you to choose a color and then the material will just always be part of it. And then maybe these are like your hot. Kind of like this visual indicator. See what the help does. So again, this, I mean, I should put this in the video, but I didn't know that they had it to this degree. Yeah, I think every app should have, every creative app should have their documentation this way, at the very least. Like a video, um, you know, if we're doing XR, why should someone have to go to a website? They should be able to just pop this open. Cool, I love it. Okay, what else do we have? We've got different ways of selecting things. So I could do select all. It's nice. I could deselect. I can invert. Lock everything. Okay. So here we have our cloning. So what if I... Okay, so that's nice. You can clone something. Grab this to orient rotation snapping. So that keeps it snapped on one angle or a different one. So what if I turn that off? Now it's snapping on an angle. Oh no, wait. Huh. That's cool that it kind of still recognizes what would be the the right position. Um, and then you can kind of, I guess, once you clone something, you can have like a little prefab here. So let's say this was, and if I want to use it, nice, I like that. Save to library, okay. And then to delete it, press to snap to surface. Ooh, that's nice too. Can I unsnap it? What if I want to snap it to this? Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Microsoft has a great tool here. I hope it stays free because I could definitely see this going like the enterprise route or the subscription model route, and that'd be a shame. I think Microsoft, if anyone has enough money to keep this uh, accessible and free for everyone, if they wanted to. Okay. So to erase, I had to actually select the erase button. So that's one thing that it's curious is that, well, I guess you could, there's like a quick select. So that's nice. I guess that makes up for it. Rather than having a dedicated eraser button, you can quick select into anything else you want. So that is a nice touch. I think I actually would wind up using that a lot more than picking this menu, which is probably the intention. So this looks like your standard flat brush. And if I want to erase it, let's see what happens if I change the material to metallic. This. Or dark edges. Okay. Um, let's go into the brush and we'll see. So we've got straight edge. Very useful. We've got freehand. We've got volume. Try a different color for that. Now what I'm curious about is, can I export this when I'm done with it? Because if that's the case, then I think we have a real game changer here. Like, can I get an FBX of this or some other file type? The thing I noticed though is, so okay, I just painted this section with purple. But when I lift the brush, you notice that this whole section is separate here. So maybe there's a way to fuse these together, other than just like grouping it, but maybe not. I really love these panels. Okay, so I've cloned it. Deselect, select, export. Oh, here we go. Export selected. So what if I selected this whole thing? I hit export selected. Export to FBX, GLTF, GLB. Let's go back to the website and see if I have that on there. Because again, it's been a long time. FBX, GLTF, GLB. Okay, so that was a feature they had before. I'm gonna export it as one of each, just to kind of see what happens here. Okay, so I've exported it and it automatically opens up. And so this is the FBX, there's no materials. Let me try opening it up in Blender. I'm just curious to see. I guess this would be vertex colors, right? Oh, wow. I gotta figure out how to change this export path because this is a nightmare. Volume C. Okay, so it's in here somewhere, right? No. What? Import normals. Let's scale this up to 5. Because I would have to convert it using that Autodesk converter, which is a pain in the butt. Let's try to export. So here we have the GLTF. One more thing here. No, okay. So we'll go to import GLTF. Whoa, okay. Here's my thing. We'll go to preview of it here with and it, yeah, it looks like it's using vertex colors. changes the color, but it's the same material. Um, okay, well, this is still kind of useful, I think. Cool. Let's try exporting something else here then, in that case. The hull brush, as you would expect. Um, it's kind of like the hull brush in Tilt Brush or Gravity Sketch. I'm going to try using a different material. One is the additive. Translucent unlit. Okay, that's looking real ugly. Plastic. Okay, so that's my creation. Let's see what happens when we export it. Okay, so the LTF, I'm in here. So maybe it overwrote the file that was there before because I don't see a new one. So it's something to keep in mind. Yeah, so it overwrote the other one. The cool thing though is that it did carry over the shaders, so we have separate shaders for each one. Um, and you can still, individually grab things. I like this. I like this as a it's very clean. And let's take a look at the geometry. Now, so here's the thing. The geometry for this kind of stuff is always going to be a little bit funky. I've been using quad remesher. You can kind of, let's drop this to like 100 quads. Oh, let's change adaptive. Oh. I mean, it's fast. You can see how fast it's doing this, but wow, maybe I have. Let's do like 500 then. What is going on? There's no. Weird. Okay, well. Interesting. That wasn't really the point of the video, but I'll do another one to to kind of go over these workflows. Apparently, I have some things to figure out, but in either case, I like that it does separate. It keeps things separate, and the materials are ones that Blender can understand. do one more test on this thing here. Let's see. Curious if we go back to this thing. This one. Grab this thing. And then we'll group them. And then we'll export this as a GLTF. Okay, so this time it gave us in the export folder the GLTF with the textures. Let's see what happens. Nice. Okay, this is shaping up to be a lot more useful than I thought it was going to be. What else do we have? Tube brush. You can change the thickness while you're doing this, which is nice. It is a little slow to catch up. One thing I don't think you can do though is I don't think you can edit the stroke after you've done it. I don't think there's like no points that you can edit on here. You can change the color. In fact, we had a hull. Too, if you want. Eyedropper kind of works how you would expect it to. Text. So here I'm stretching out text box. I clicked off of it, but you can see if I click back on it, I have the text in front of me. And then I can either put in lorem ipsum, which is really useful. And it looks like I continue to stretch things too, which is it's strange because the stretching happens with the other hand, the opposite hand that you're using. I'm not quite sure how you would go about selecting the corners. Seems to only snap to the edges here, but now the question I have is, can I change the text color midway? No. But you do have all these other options for changing the orientation. You can get in here and change all kinds of nice stuff. Pin the keyboard, paste from clipboard. So it's a lot of useful stuff there for the text. Smaller and bigger. Smaller. All right. And then we have, of course, the camera. We've got photo capture, video capture, 360, head-mounted camera. I like that it kind of gives you this guide right here for the 360 anyway. And then you have some steadiness control, which is nice. Yeah, because otherwise you're gonna get this really shaky thing going on. Got a nice smoothness to it. I'm gonna actually try to record a video with that. Cool. So I'm curious. Oh, here we go. And there's a video preview. I don't even have to go to my. So this was what I was curious about: is whether the and it does. So it looks like you're gonna want to line up your shots before you do them, so that you don't have the menu in the way. Unless there's a way to hide the menu, but I don't think that would make sense unless you could bring it up fast. Um, but cool. I mean, this is super useful. You don't have to leave your space while you're doing this. Okay. Then of course we've got the different assets. This is the new one. It looks like the procedural. Got the primitives. Really, any kind of primitive you would need. Oh wait, let's do that one feature where we, boom. Grab, can I grab like the purple from there? I'll change the material to something. That. Two. What else do we have? We have some plants, it looks like. And then some other types of primitives. Share. Okay. So then we can import things. Got the Maquette library, which has stuff here. Strange that there's not like a preview, but I guess if these are FBXs, oops, keep wanting to grab with the other button. What do you think? Should I give this person a controller, or should I have it just be like hands-free? Figure out how do you actually grip. I'm holding one in my hand. That. A little bit smaller. I feel like it's bigger than that. Tiny. I mean, these are kind of small controllers. Come on. I guess that's kind of accurate. Something like that. Right hand. Wait a minute. Oh, there it is. Left hand. Hmm. Maybe do this. Okay, anyway. We've got the Maquette library, got our images. So in my case, I just put these logos here. You can see they've got some nice icons. Really nice. Then you've got some other assets, which with Maquette pieces, and this was around in like the early days when I first tried out the app. And so you can kind of see here that they made these people out of they've got some really nice ones. Like this whole thing. Like this whole thing. And then we ungroup this. Yep. Group it again. Another group. Okay. Then we paint this. Then we move these. It's with two right hands, but whatever. Cool. All right. What else we got? Starting position. So again, you're kind of prototyping in this, so you can create specific areas where you want someone to spawn into. You can also create different scenes. So if you want to have different areas that you're going to show off. So in my case, I would probably have this main area and then another break off area where I would be showcasing maybe like AR apps specifically, or making specific panels for these separate ones where this information is and get more info that way. And then of course having like a map in its own scene, because that would just get too confusing to look at. And then we have the environment, so you can kind of, very similar to how Tilt Brush handles this, you can kind of change the lighting and the fog and all this kind of stuff. 3D background, so you have the option for some backgrounds here. Um, I guess this is cool for getting a sense of scale. Yeah. I mean, that is rather nice having something rather than just like an empty void of nothingness there. But then we have an exhibition hall. To me, this is a bit small for an exhibition. Uh-oh. Okay, so like I pushed it. Let's save this backups. I like this debug console. I don't think that was there before. I wonder if I can keep doing this. Yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna keep going until it officially crashes on me. We've got experimental features here, so there's some AR settings. I'm not entirely sure how this would work. Enable simulation. Oh wow, okay, so kind of like if you were wearing the HoloLens. Yeah, totally like the HoloLens. They've got the occlusion here. That's funny. You can even dial the FOV in. A magic leap. Even to the brightness, which is. I mean, they've really thought of everything in this app. Swim navigation. Cool. Curious to see if that'll make it so that you can have working prototypes where you can like press a button, kind of like a Figma or an Adobe XD or something like that. That'd be pretty neat if they could build that in a way that's easy to use, where you don't have to really do any kind of intense programming. Then you've got your projects, so it looks like it did make a backup here for me, which is nice. And your settings. Desktop camera. I had no idea that this was desktop compatible, so that's. Oh yeah, look, it's here in my in the corner here. Or well, I don't know. I guess you do, but maybe if you were in presentation mode, you wanted to show someone. Cool that I can like see myself. This is probably also good for recording videos, right? so many great features. Graphics settings, okay. Other things here. Some language settings, analytics, debug, some information about app itself, and then the option to quick save. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to see more of this in the future. I need to map out exactly how I want to approach this. Again, my end goal for this is to have a experience that I can export out to Unity and then put this in VRChat or put this in, hubs or some other space in the future. Or maybe even it's like fully fledged its own app, right? Let's discard changes. And just out of curiosity, interactive stage and companion window. So, yeah, I didn't cover this in my last video that I've been working on, but I think I'm gonna actually. I'm glad I didn't release it yet because I wanna feature Maquette in that a little bit because I really love how they're doing their documentation. It's funny because it's Microsoft, and I wouldn't really expect that from Microsoft. For them to have such a really beautiful approach to even to the app itself, right? The user experience, but the documentation as well is so clean and nice to look at. I think they're gonna give Gravity Sketch a run for their money in that regard, in my book anyway. In terms, because right now for me, spoiler, that was gonna be in the video, but I think Gravity Sketch is up there in terms of having the most comprehensive, well-designed documentation and both outside of the app and within the app. But I think Maquette is really closing the gap here. They've got like videos now. This is like new to this year, which is great. The only thing that I find curious is that their community is primarily it's on Steam. Unless there's a Discord out there, which I haven't been added to. I haven't added myself to it yet. But most people are on Discord. So let's real quick just check out something here. One of these sample scenes. Okay, so we're inside a multi-scene maquette. We can flip through the different ones using the left-hand joystick. So we have here 10 scenes. Or we can... Oh, and we can change the background. Where is it? And the lighting apparently too, looks like. $195. Also be edited in the background of this stage. Anyway, so here are the different viewpoints. So let's just flip through them. So we've got this one, got this one, show UI lights because I'm curious how the lights change with each scene. So we've got the blue one here, that one. So the lights themselves don't change location, but the colors change with each frame. Check out the material showcase real quick. Okay, nice. So we've got like pastel. Got lit edges. Then we have these kind of like other ones. Oops. Got like the shiny hair going on here. Cool. Oh, okay. So there's even like weird that they're not all positioned in the same spot, but okay. The other ones I can't really tell that much at first glance. Storyboarding with the hull brush. So this is going to be similar to what you would do in Gravity Sketch. If, for anyone that's been using that for prototyping. Weird. Somehow I feel like I'm at a... Oh, there we go. Kind of grabbed the world by accident in that case. There we go. We've got the tortoise and the hare. Cool. Wow, this one's really impressive. So this is um, the volumetric brush, I think. And so, I mean, whoever did this went to town. This is huge. I don't think I can zoom out anymore. Wow. They cranked up the fog, which definitely gives it a lot more character. Whoop. Makes it look more emotional, right? The cool thing is you can dial things in this way. I think it's a little higher than it was, right? But yeah, this this is stunning. I like where they've gone with this tool so far. This is more of a design, like a UI design, UI UX. I like this. Let's see what happens if I enable the simulation. Yeah, so this, does it show up on screen? No, not quite. So here's the thing. On my end, when you enable the simulation, it kind of, can you even see the menu? Yeah, I guess you can see that. When I hit enable simulation, it has this frame. It like frames everything in as if you were looking through a HoloLens, and you can change the opacity and everything. So if you were designing for AR, you can get that sense of what it would be like, or where the cutoffs in someone's vision would be, depending on like the different hardware types. Very cool. Okay, augmented city farm. This looks like they're using one of the backgrounds that I'm included in here. Okay, so in this case, everything that's this dark color is supposed to represent the real world. And then it looks like in the next scene, everything that's highlighted is showing off what somebody with an augmented headset would be seeing. If I turn on the simulation, then I really get the sense that I'm looking at it through a hologram. Although technically, I guess you would still see the rest of the world. Like you don't get this perfect rectangle. Um, okay, so got that one. Two more to go here. Okay, so this one is a movie storyboard. So you've got the environment mapped out. You've got your script, and then you've got your characters, and you can frame up things however you'd want to frame them. I think is kind of cool. So let's just switch to the next thing. And so in the next scene, see they've blocked out, okay, they want this character to move over here, and this one's going to follow him, and so, whoops. Camera's going to show up from this point of view, and then the next one. Now we've gone from here to here, and now they're actually building something. If I had to guess, I would say this was probably someone blocking out like a Rick and Morty episode or something. What it looks like. Wow, they even went so far as to make the whole house, the whole neighborhood back. Um, cool. And the last one. This looks like it's just like an art piece. Oh no, wait. There's locations. Grabbing the scenes. That's the first viewpoint here. Second one over there, I guess. One, viewpoint two, and then viewpoint three at the top. Cool. Really neat stuff. Um, so yeah, I think that Microsoft, whoever is working on this, has really outdone themselves. Um, the tool's a lot more stable than it was when I tried it, and there's so many really cool features that just make using it intuitive and fun. So I'm definitely going to revisit this project and try to build out a multi-scene maquette, and I'm curious to see what that looks like when exported to Unity. If it exports them as separate scenes in that sense also, or if how does it handle it? I think that's probably what it would be doing, but I'm not entirely sure. And if that's the case, then maybe it would make more sense for me to have just one big environment and then different viewpoints. That way, if I do export it, then I don't have to have separate scenes. I can just have one big scene, and then, that might be a lot easier than I thought it would. But it was worth it. I mean, this is a great tool. I hope it gets some more folks using it, trying it out, and yeah. I didn't even know they had desktop options here. This is kind of cool. Great. Yeah, this is great. Anyway, that's it. See you next time.